Good morning. I'm Valeria Bravata, Director of Programs for West Marin Fund, and I'm very, very happy to be opening this session that we've been looking forward to. The Marin County and the Office of Supervisor Rodoni and West Marin Fund had been collaborating for some time now, trying to find solutions or activities, programs that could support West Marine in creating new jobs or being able to hire locally. And one of those options or alternatives that we think could be very helpful for West Marine is are the services that the Workforce Alliance of the North Bay offers. Today we have Zach Koplik de Leon, who's going to talk to us about that, and he's wonderful, and he's going to talk us particularly about the services that the Workforce Alliance offers to employers. And this is for any type of employer, can be a nonprofit, government, can be like a school district, of course, businesses in any areas, agricultural, retail, anything, actually, anything, any size of any business size as well. So the Zach will talk you through all these offerings, but we really hope that today is just the beginning of a conversation, and that if you're interested or you think that any of the things that Zach talks about today can be helpful for you, that you can continue a conversation with Zach one-on-one. And thank you again to the county and to Supervisor Rodoni and the Workforce Alliance of the North Bay for making this day possible. And with that, I'll just pass it to Zach.
Thank you so much, Valeria, for that introduction. And thank you, everyone, for being here. Good morning. I'm really happy we were able to get together early this morning and able to offer all these services and get a little information out there about what's what resources are out there for businesses. Again, my name is Zach Kobuk de Leon. I am a senior workforce development analyst and Marin County's business services lead for the Workforce Alliance in the North Bay. We are a regional workforce development board. We cover Marin, Napa, Lake, and Mendocino counties. And as I mentioned, I'm here dedicated to Marin County, ready to serve all you beautiful people. So I just want to let you know that this session is going to be between 60 and 75 minutes. We're giving a little bit of flexible time for questions. We encourage questions to be asked throughout this presentation, so please put them in the chat if you wanted a little bit more elaboration or clarity on any aspect of what I'm talking about today. So Valeria, next slide, please. All right, and this is a presentation about business and employer services. And I hope that we get some really good information for you guys and that you guys will find something of value and find some resources that would really support your business and some other information that would resonate with you personally. Next slide, please. So CareerPoint North Bay, we are the local Marin County Career Center. The brand name for the state is the American Job Center of California, or AJCC. I may be using that acronym throughout, so if you hear that, that's what I'm referring to. We are closely connected with the EDD, the Employment Development Division or Department of the state of California, and we have many other partners. Next slide, please. So a little bit about our funding, just to start off with, WIOA, the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, is a federal program that is broken up into several titles, as they call it. We work closely with adult education, as I mentioned, EDD, Department of Rehabilitation that serves the disabled population, as well as other people with other barriers. We also
I'm
work
gonna
with
turn it
the,
down just a little bit.
all right. Please, as a reminder, just to unmute or mute yourselves, and yeah, and as well as older adults and TANF, which is the Health and Human Services Temporary Assistance for Needy Families, like CalWORKS, as well as um, the Community Action Marin. through their through their federal grants. Next slide, please. And as I was mentioning, our partners all around the county, and CareerPoint is the umbrella under which all of our partners sit. So it's called the One Stop, AJCC CareerPoint. I'll be using these interchangeably. And CareerPoint is more than just the services that I'm going to be talking about today. It's all of our partners together, and the One Stop is really the spirit of what our whole ecosystem is, somewhere that businesses and job seekers could go, make one stop, and get all the resources they need. Next slide, please. So I'm going to go into a little bit about what services we offer to job seekers, just so you guys have that baseline understanding of what we do for the job seeker side of things, and then we're going to get into the business services. So some of the clients that we serve and would be available to hire through our programs are youth services out of school 16 to 24-year-olds. And we also do adult services for 18 and over. There is overlap, which is great because we could layer different services and really provide more value for the community that way. And another big population that we work with are dislocated workers, those who have been recently laid off or are currently facing a layoff in the near future. And there are different programs and services for each of these populations, which I'll get into briefly in a little bit. All of our clients that we work with are required to register for CalJobs. I'll go into a little bit more about what CalJobs is. Just on a high level, CalJobs is the job seeker and employer portal that the state funds and organizes. And on that platform, job seekers are able to upload their resume, search for various employment opportunities. Employers are able to post for free. All these services are free. Just wanted to put that out there right off the bat. They're able to post jobs that they have for hire. They also are able to search proactively the job seekers that may be interested and may be qualified for their position. Um, and job seekers are also required to register for the Selective Service, male, those who were assigned a male at birth, up to, I believe, what is it, 30 something or so, give or take. And the most important qualification is the ability and willingness to work. And so we're not going to be, working with or referring to anyone who does not have that drive, that willingness to get out there and really provide that value for the business. Next slide, please. We have two kind of buckets of work. The first is called basic career services, and those are things that anybody could come into our career centers, the American Job Centers of California, the Career Point, whatever you want to call it. And this includes anybody from those with limited or not having the right to work documentation, those who do not specifically qualify for our programs. They're able to come in, get some sort of eligibility determination, get an initial skills assessment where they need to improve, where they need to focus on more, and the strengths that they have to truly offer. We help people with resume assistance, interview preparation. We're able to do labor market research to see what industries might be the best for both businesses and for businesses to open, as well as job seekers to search for. And we help people complete applications. So any job seekers that you get from us have been walked through the process, they're knowledgeable, and they know how to move through these processes. We also work with businesses to networking and job matching, and we also provide those direct referrals. And if you guys are looking for anyone, you're always welcome to reach out to us, inquire about our pool of eligible workers, and we can connect you whether or not they're enrolled in our WeOS services. We also provide virtual and in-person job fairs and hiring events. I'll get into that a little bit more later as well. And we also do supportive services for training opportunities for these job seekers. We're able to provide funding for books if they want to go back to school. We also provide funding for tools if they're getting into the workforce, scrubs, whatever is needed, maybe some knives if they're going to be working back of house in a restaurant. We also do referrals to our workforce and community partners. So next slide, please. Now, these individualized career services are those who are directly enrolled and eligible for the WIOA funding programs. They also get career guidance, counseling, and planning, pre-vocational training, such as, if they're going into healthcare, getting into the registered nursing program. If they're doing construction, get them into some sort of construction apprenticeships. And we also provide work experience programs and internships, all of which I'll be getting into later, as well as helping them prepare for the workforce in the workplace, how to conduct themselves, and do sort of those targeted trainings. Some of the paid work experiences and training opportunities that we offer, which I'll get into more later, such as on-the-job training and the work experience program for youth. And we also help people improve their English language skills and get them more integrated into the education ecosystem and training. Next slide, please. So these are this kind of a bridge to what we offer to businesses as well. These are our training services. On a very high level, because I'm going to get into this more later, we got the incumbent worker training, which when a business has employees that are long-term employees and you want to keep them, but there's new technology that comes out, new practices, and you don't want to hire anyone or let anyone go for lack of training, we're able to come in, help you fund all that. Same with the customized training for new hires, on the job training, which we will provide wage reimbursements for, and work experience, where we will fully fund on a short-term basis a youth participant for your business. Next slide. So just to get it right into it, the incumbent worker training. So the incumbent worker training, we provide funding to help you develop a training or even hire a facilitator to train up your staff, as I mentioned, about new technologies, new best practices. For example, AI is coming out, and there is a lot that people are unsure about how to use it in the workplace, how to use best practices for organizational safety. And so just as a one example of many, we are able to come in, provide a training facilitator, help you develop it so you could do it internally. And we could even help provide some funding for your employees to attend the training. The workers that you would have would learn new processes, updated equipment. If there's a new piece of equipment in a manufacturing setting that someone is going to be implementing, then we could help train up your staff on that new one and help people get renew or get new certifications as they become requirements. And this service is really meant to enable you to help retain your current workforce and avoid any layoffs that may happen because of skill gaps. That's one of our main mandates, is to make sure that employees that are currently hired or currently employed are able to retain their positions, and employers are able to retain their current workforce. Next slide, please. So just a quick success story, just as a real world example. So there was a manufacturing company in Santa Fe that faced challenges adapting new technology. What we came in with our WIOA funded training for some of their long-term employees, which, there was a 10-year veteran that was not well trained up on some of the newer technologies that have been coming out. And so we came in, we provided training to improve the efficiency, modernize their operations, and boost morale so that because everyone was able to be comfortable with what they're doing. And this also paved the way for promotions for current employees so that there wasn't a need to hire at that higher level. And if there was any hiring needs, they could be hired at the entry level. And then we were able to help out with those as well. And the end result, the company avoided costly turnover while also maintaining that industry competitiveness. And they're still in business. And they keep coming back to us for all of our services. It was a great experience for them and us. So next slide, please. Another one that's kind of like you say a cousin of the incumbent worker training is the customized training. And this is for new employees, and we will work with local colleges and training providers and work with the businesses themselves to choose and design the trainings. They can be designed to upskill and new and recent hires. Um, some of the training costs, we could help provide subsidies for that, and all covered by CareerPoint Marin and the Workforce Alliance of the North Bay. And all these programs, as I mentioned, and I'll continue to mention throughout, they're all customizable, free, and I'm able to work with you directly to come up with the best situation for your business. Next slide, please.
Can I ask a question, Zach?
Please, yeah.
So for this customized training, is there like a minimum number of employees that would benefit from that training, or can you offer this service even if you're just training one employee?
You do it with just one employee. If it's going to prevent a layoff and make the business more competitive and sustainable in the long term, that is our goal. We don't have a minimum. We just want to make sure that this gets out there to make sure that your employees are able to remain valuable to your business. Obviously, they're valuable as people, but I mean valuable in how they serve your customers, how they serve the industry that you're in.
And there's
So,
a question in the chat as well
yeah.
that says, for the training, do income levels apply?
So for this one, it's connected directly to the business, these training ones. So there's no income level for the actual employees that is any requirement. So it doesn't just address low income employees or otherwise barriered employees. It is for the business so that the business is able to retrain all of their employees. And
Okay.
thank you so much for that question, Kay. And please, everyone, I just want to encourage everyone to be able to feel comfortable raising their hand and asking questions in the chat. I want this to be as interactive as possible. And I'm really happy that you think this is a fantastic resource, Kay. I believe so too. All right, Valeria, next slide,
Mhm.
please. These are now we're getting into some of the programs that we offer that make me very excited and really piqued the interest of Valeria and Fernando and made them want me to come out here and talk to you guys. So on the job training, this is that wage subsidy program that is able to put more money in your pocket when you need to hire. So on the job training, by hiring and training a career point job seeker, through the OJT program, and again, acronyms, alphabet soup. If you need me to repeat anything, lengthening these acronyms, don't hesitate. I live in the world of acronyms, and so they just come out fluently. And I'm more than happy to elaborate more on anything. So this OJT program and your business, once you decide to work with us and you get connected to one of our job seekers, you are going to be reimbursed up to 50% of the wage of that new hire for the first 6 months of their employment, up to $10,000. And with this, it is participant led, which means that when a participant is pursued for this and it's going to be matched with a business, it is because that business or that occupation that is available is on their direct career path. So for instance, if someone wants to be an office manager in general, then we could get them in some sort of administrative role, reception, etc. Someone wants to be a chef one day, we could get them in at an entry level in the kitchen somewhere, from dishwashing all the way up to prep or even on the line. There are many other examples, and I'm more than happy to address how we could fit this into your specific industry, sector, or business. And so some of the other benefits you receive, a reliable, vetted candidate. And when I say reliable, it's because they've been working with us. We make sure that this person is going to show up. So if they don't show up to some of our meetings, then we don't want to put them in that position to not show up for you because our name is on the line just as much as theirs. And we just want to make sure that this is a great experience for everyone. And they're vetted, which means they get a full background check from us. And we make sure that there's no dings in their past that you might not agree with. That we do work with justice involved individuals, but we're not going to force any business to work with anyone that they are not comfortable with. So some businesses are comfortable with that, some aren't. That's totally up to the business in the program. And the only real caveat to this is that after the 6 months are up or after the reimbursement funds have been exhausted, um, the business would be required to maintain that employee for up to 1 year. Of course, if there's something egregious that happens, you're not bound to keep someone that is going to be dangerous or create a hostile work environment or any of those things. But this program is meant to encourage long-term sustainable career growth and not for the business to just hire someone for 6 months and then drop them and hire someone for 6 months and drop them. So it's meant to A, protect the business, to make sure that you get someone that is going to be a great fit for your company and that you're able to train them up however you see fit to be successful in your business. And it also is meant to protect the employee because we have had experiences where a business will just drop someone and drop someone and drop someone and just use the reimbursement side of things. So it's meant to be mutually beneficial for everyone involved. A really cool thing that I learned recently is that the Workforce Alliance and CareerPoint, we have a waiver that we qualified for to offer 90% wage reimbursement for businesses with under 50 employees. And still goes up to 6 months, still goes up to $10,000. But if you really want to get someone in there, but you might not be able to afford those upfront training costs, this 90% will go a long way to enabling you to grow your business and grow your reach in the community. Next slide, please. Oh, yes,
Couple
Valeria.
questions, Zach. The 10,000 is total for the 6 months or per month?
Total for the 6 months.
Okay.
Thank you
So,
for clarifying that. Yes, so it is the total for the life of the program. So it's
okay.
6 months or $10,000, whichever comes first.
And for local employers that usually are trying to hire local candidates, and these candidates are perhaps not in career point, but let's say I wanna do a call or I wanna recruit somebody. Can I can I add in my search that we encourage seekers to register for Career Point? So I'm just trying to think like a lot of the candidates that we may get are not in your system. How do we get them in your system? Can we say in the recruiting post like we encourage all candidates to join this program, or even if I already have identified a candidate locally that I know it's not in Career Point, how do I make those things match?
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to clarify this. So there are several ways that an employer business can be connected to this program. You could come to us and just inquire if there's anyone in that pipeline that would be a fit for the occupation that's available, and we would provide you with a few candidates that you're able to hire or interview and make sure that you find the right one that's best for you. That's option one. That's the one that's most common. Option two is what Valeria was asking about, is yes, you could absolutely suggest that candidates who are applying register for Cal jobs, get in contact with CareerPoint Marin, and go through that path as well. And if there's someone that, in the community that and you want to hire that specific person, you could talk to them about, hey, like this is the occupation we have. It is on this career path, and it would be good for you to go talk to a career advisor about this career path and that which this occupation is on, and then they could be cycled back into your organization so that you would benefit from this program. So there's, I would say, three ways to go about it. The first one, going through us and using our job seekers that we have in the pipeline, advertising the job and suggesting that candidates register for Cal jobs and get the process going by speaking to one of our career advisors. Or if you have someone in mind that you're really excited about and are willing to wait a little bit, then you could have them go through the process and circle back to you that way. So yeah.
And when you say wait a little bit, Zach, what that little bit looks like? Are we talking about a couple months, 3 months, 6 months, a year?
That's excellent, excellent question. So when I say a little bit, I know a lot of jobs, a lot of employers, a lot of businesses, when they're hiring, they need someone now. Um, and so if you refer someone that you have an interest in and they have an interest in your business to go through that process. It could take up to a week to actually meet with a career advisor, and then maybe another week or two to really go through the onboarding process, the intake process, and the counseling process. So I would say at the most, it would be a month if you wanted to go that way. If you were more interested in getting anybody in there who is connected to our programs, who have been vetted and are motivated, then the quickest way would just be to come to me, come to our career advisors, and talk to us about who is in the pipeline who would be a good fit. But as I said, we love giving you options. We love to make sure that this is not a one size fits all program, and that we can make sure that this works out for everyone involved.
We have a question in the chat, and it says, could a current seasonal employee be rehired through this job seeker program? I'm happy to expand on audio if that doesn't make sense. And please, Paige, you're welcome, of course, to unmute and share more of your question.
I think I have an idea, but I would also love to hear some elaboration if you have a certain situation in mind.
Yeah, hi. I guess just to expand on it, that particular question is that I run a grazing company that operates year round, but I have seasonal employees who have a very particular job set and a separate season that requires a different skill set. And I have several employees who are interested in joining in on the season that they don't currently have the developed skills for. However, I just don't have, I just haven't had the capital to invest in them, the training necessary for them to be able to essentially stay on year round. And so they have seasonal contracts, they leave for the season, and then they reapply and come back for the following season, what they have the appropriate skill set for. And so what I'm curious about, this one particular employee wants to stay on year round. If at the end of their seasonal contract, which is currently happening, they joined Job Seeker, if I was able to hire them through Job Seeker, it sounds like I would be able to get reimbursed for some of that training of that necessary skill set that would allow for them to become essentially a year-round employee, and work through these different seasons that we just haven't been able to afford to train everybody to work through. This is an ag business, grazing business. And so I guess that's my question. If I've already hired somebody in the past, if they were to then become a member of Job Seeker, and then I during the rehiring process, would I be able to hire that same person? Is that question making more sense?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for clarifying that. It allowed me to answer this a little bit more clearly. So to answer your question, yes, but if you are planning on hiring them back for a year-round position, that is something that you could potentially do. Um, get them, like, let's say if they're in the spring. I don't know what season. So if they're coming in, they're working in the spring, but then they can't work after that because of the skill set that they don't have. Um, what they could do is that they could, while they're not working for you, get enrolled in our programs. Have them be coached up a little bit about the career trajectory, and then once it comes time to hire again, then you could do that. Through this program, we would not pay for the training itself. The 50% or 90%, whatever your case may be, would be to offset the training and loss of productivity from the training. So yes, that could work as long as you're planning on keeping them for a year afterwards. And it sounds like if they're going to be trained up to get those skills to be a year-round employee, it would be a great fit. Another option is the incumbent worker training that I discussed. And that would come in to pay for the training or subsidize the training to allow you to train up your seasonal workers to be year-round workers. So there's different ways we could do this. We could layer these services, and since a lot of these are customizable, and you're able to use multiple, it's called a menu of services for a reason. You're not stuck with just one way of going about things. these kind of details are better worked out in a one-on-one conversation so I can get more details about your business and about your specific needs and the size of your workforce and all of those things. So I would encourage you to set up a meeting with me and potentially one of our career advisors so that we could walk you through the process. We could learn more about your needs and how we could better serve you that way. But yes, that's a wonderful question, and that's the beauty of these programs is that they're not cookie cutter. So thank you, Paige.
There's another question from Madeline. Can you speak about young adults who may need additional support, such as those who need driver's license, are pregnant, managing legal matters, are on house, or are trying to enroll in a community college program? Are there services that are available by enrolling in the program?
Yeah, Madeline, thank you so much. I love how excited you are about getting this information, how engaged you are in what we're talking about today. I'm going to go into that a little bit more later. This is a program for those 18 and over. And the next program that I'm going to be talking about is geared towards young adults ages 17 through 24. And so that's coming right on deck. So I'm going to hold that and I will get back to your question at that time. But thank you so much for asking that. So I have that context when I'm discussing the next program. But
Mhm.
yes, we do have programs for young adults as well. Next slide, please. All right, and some of the other benefits. So you're able to work with our career advisors to customize your own training program. And as I mentioned, that subsidy, that wage subsidy offsets the training cost and the loss of productivity. Um, and so we'll work with you to figure out the best way using either established training methods or help you develop your own. So those are some of the, and then you could take that model and replicate it however many times you want to. And there are some, tax initiatives that businesses may qualify for. Um, we do live currently in a very uncertain time as far as what tax benefits are out there. Things are changing all the time. And so as far as some of the tax credits and other tax benefits, at the point of, interest when you're talking with someone about this, either myself or a career advisor, I'd recommend that we kind of look into that a little bit more at that moment because I don't know what's going to come in the next few months in that regard. And it's cost effective. And as a just one example, if your employee is getting $17 an hour, and now I guess it's going to be a little bit more, um, you'd be paying about 27.20 per month without this program. And so, if you're doing the 50% option, you would save 13, $1,360 per month, which, I know, everyone has kind of tight money situation. I don't know what everyone's situation is, but that goes a long way to provide that sustainable training opportunity and allow you, the business owner, to really bolster your workforce and expand and become more competitive in the market. And I see what
There's
Kay
another
said.
question.
Are there are there connections for resources, for supports, for job success, car repair, for commute, wardrobe? Yes, absolutely. Some of those wraparound services that I mentioned before would apply. So we could help with car repairs, we could help with bus passes and those types of barriers. We have resources and funds to remove barriers to employment, and so that is our main charge to get people trained up and remove those barriers to employment. And so all these services, as I mentioned, are free to the job seeker through Career Point Marin and through the Workforce Alliance in the North Bay. Next slide, please.
Zach, one more question.
Yes.
Is there a limit of how many employees you can have in this program? So let's say I have two new hires and two people that I want to retrain. Can I get support for the four positions or is there like a limit?
So that is a case by case basis as well. Typically and historically, it has been one employee at a time. Um, and also one more thing, this is not meant to fire someone, and then hire someone else so that you could make that bridge. So this is not meant to replace a full-time position unless, someone left um, because of whatever reason on their own accord, and you just have to fill this position. But it's not meant to you hire someone through this and then you fire someone else. So it's not meant to go that way. But Blair, to answer your question, typically it's one at a time for the on-the-job training program. Um, but you can layer this with the incumbent worker and customized training programs. So, you want to have this on-the-job training. You could get funds to develop a training curriculum, and you could also have the funds to hire a facilitator for specialized training as well. So all these are kind of layered if you want to approach it that way.
And the best path would be for anybody who's interested to schedule an appointment with you and go through their specific needs, correct?
Absolutely. And everything I'm discussing is I'm speaking more in the generalities of the program. There are specifics that we can get into, such as, okay, if you're, expanding or starting up, if you could use this for multiple new eligible employees, that would be a question that we would do on a case-by-case basis, and we could talk about that more on a one-on-one meeting. And so I'd love to explore that with you. Next slide, please. And who doesn't love to hear a success story, right? So there was a recent college graduate that came through our program, and a restaurant group, wanted to expand their catering, but was a little cautious about that because of, their profit margins are very narrow in that industry. So they were a little hesitant to expand at that time in their current situation, especially if they're hiring a new culinary grad. So OJT, we were able to reimburse the wages while the new hire, Sophia, was trained up on their specific menu development, how their kitchen systems work specifically, and how they go about planning their own events. So we were able to get Sophia in there, and within 6 months, Sophia was promoted to be a sous chef and was leading major catering events. We always follow up. We walk people along and make sure that we don't just dump someone on you and then put our hands up. We are there holding your hand and holding the job seeker's hand throughout this entire program. And we even follow up 1 year, 2 year, 3 years after just to make sure that it was a good fit and that if there are any adjustments that need to be made, we're able to make them in real time so that it's not all bared upon your shoulders. Um, and long story short, the business lowered its onboarding costs, they reduced their hiring risk, and they also gained a long-term, highly skilled employee that was specifically trained to that business's needs. Next slide, please. All right, now this is the work experience program. Madeline, this is the one that you might be interested in. So this is a work experience program for out-of-school youth ages 17 through 24. Participants in this program will receive up to 320 hours of paid training, fully 100% funded. And what's really cool, what I think, is that they are actually an employee of CareerPoint Marin, and the business, that is going to be participating in this program is simply a work site. So CareerPoint will cover the full wage, the full workers' compensation insurance, all the taxes, everything. There's $0 out of pocket for the businesses for this program. It is short term, so 320 hours. That's four pay periods with 80 hours a week. This could also be spread out over 16 weeks. So if someone's going to be part-time, it works that way as well. And as I mentioned, since they are an employee of ours and they're working at your site, there's no risk to you for liabilities of any way, shape, or form. And I also like to discuss that this could also be utilized and thought about as a trial run for a young person. It's sort of a paid internship. So there are training aspects to it. There is a training regimen that you will develop with one of our career advisors. But then after the program, if you evaluate the person and think, you know what, we really like this person, they're a great fit for our organization, we want to hire them on full time. And that is honestly the best case scenario for both us, you, and the person looking for a job. And that's the main spirit of this program. But it could also be used as a one after another type of situation. It's not meant to replace full-time employees. As I mentioned, this is a work training program to get work experience. But that said, you could do one person, do that for 320 hours, and then follow that up with another person as long as there is someone waiting in that pipeline. Similarly to the on-the-job training program, this is participant led. So if they want to one day be an executive chef, we could get them in work experience as a line cook or manufacturing if they wanted, or construction, if they wanted to be a foreman, we would get them at the entry level on that career path and get them in there for 320 hours. And then that way you could try them out, see how it works. If it's a good fit, then you can keep them on long term. I see a couple questions in here. Regarding the selective service and young men, what exactly are individuals signing up for? So the selective service for young men is what all of those assigned male at birth who are citizens of the United States, they need to sign up. It's basically the draft. Unfortunately, since this is a federal program, that is one of the requirements. It's also one of the requirements for registering to vote. So it's just something that is part of it. We're not recruiting for the military by any means. It is just something that was put into the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. There's a new iteration coming down in this next budget cycle, so that may or may not change. But for right now, that's what the selective service is. So thank you for that question, Madeline. And Vince, often in ag industry, on-the-job training is conducted by the owner or maybe an experienced existing employee. Could the funds to hire a trainer be used to offset the owner or existing employee's time? Absolutely. Um, at least for when you layer in the incumbent worker training or the customized training, some of those funds go to offset those training costs. So for the on-the-job training and the work experience, you kind of layer stuff on, and we can make it really, really cost effective to hire people. And that's the main goal of these is to make it as appealing to businesses as possible. Vince, I hope that answered your question. Feel free to elaborate if you wanted me to get into different parts of that. Cheryl, how would we as an employer register as an interested participant for welcoming Pathways to Work interns? When you say Pathways to Work, are you referring to the work experience program? Cheryl, you could come on, you unmute yourself if you could elaborate a little bit more on that.
Good morning. My screen, I'm sorry, there's a subtitle Pathways to Work. So I just thought that was the name of the work experience program.
Oh, no
That you're
problem.
describing here for interns 17 to 24 learning a profession. How would we express interest in? I mean, that's tends to be something that we do anyway. So how would we get involved in the program itself?
That is so amazing that you guys do that. And that's another way that this program is used. If you're already doing this, this could help you guys continue to do that good work and get a little bit more money in your pocket. So to register as an interested employer for this, you and I could have a conversation about this. We'll get you in that pipeline. We'll get you registered in CalJobs, and then you could work with a career advisor to customize whatever training programs that you use for the interns that you already serve. You could just copy and paste that right into the work experience program. So the first step would be to, after this, set up a time for you and I to talk, and we will drill down into the specifics about what you guys need. Did that answer your question, Cheryl?
Yes, thanks so much.
All right, awesome. Um, Madeline, are you coordinated with the high school programs, school to career programs? We do work with Marin County Office of Education on and for referrals and those sorts of things. We do receive referrals from them, and we work very closely with the school to career programs, as well as the career education programs at College of Marin.
I would like to add that Shoreland Unified School District is joining actually this webinar today and learning about these resources as well. So there's a lot of potential definitely for the youth in West Marin, Madeline.
Mhm.
That's wonderful. I'm glad that you guys are here today.
And I would also like to add that we're lucky to have Zach as a very one-on-one person that can talk with everyone like about their very specific case, and he will, you know, adapt and give us more guidance on how to get that from the employer side of things. And he will, I mean, the Workforce Alliance of the North Bay, it's also going to be present in West Marin can you tell us a little bit about that, Zach? I don't remember the dates, but I know that you guys are starting to have a presence in person in West Marin.
Yeah, absolutely. We are going to start being here with our career advisors. September 22nd is the first day at the West Marin Health and Human Services down there on First Street. Actually, no, sorry, 106th Street. And we're going to be there for 2 hours starting out to try it out, 10 to 12 every other week starting the 22nd of this month. And I would love to show our service provider, who is the direct employer of our career advisors, that there is such a strong need out here in West Marin, which I have seen from my conversations with people in the community, that we really should have a longer presence. So they're cautious. They want to make sure that the juice is worth the squeeze, so to speak. And by encouraging, the community to get out there, get a line going, we could be out here 8 hours a day, and I think that that would be wonderful. We're also going to have dedicated online or virtual office hours for the West Marin community on the off weeks that our career advisors are not here. So there's going to be multiple ways to engage with the Workforce Alliance in the North Bay and Career Point Marin career advisors here in West Marin.
Mhm.
All right, next slide, please. Oh, I'm sorry, Roseanne. I just assumed that everyone knew that. So it's in Point Reyes Station, right there at 106th Street. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to clarify that, Roseanne. All right, and a little success story about the Work Experience Program, or as it's colloquially called, the WEX program. As I mentioned, acronyms and alphabet soup all around. So a recent high school graduate we were working with was interested in the healthcare industry, and a local hospital partnered with us on a WEX to fill some temporary administrative needs. Miguel, who was this recent high school grad, was able to be trained up and provided reliable clerical and some patient support assistance. And depending on the training that you offer for healthcare, I know that there are HIPAA. I don't know how to all the words in that, but HIPAA, the privacy regulations that surround healthcare. They could be trained up in HIPAA, they could be trained up in CPR, and all the necessary skills to be in a healthcare setting. And so this placement gave the hospital no cost entry level support and helped them develop this training program to build out the future talent pipeline. So afterwards, Miguel was hired on and is currently pursuing health information management studies. And he's going to come right back to healthcare when he's done. So this was a huge success story. Thank you, Raisa. Yes, 1/6th Street. I really appreciate you making sure that that was known to the community. Not 100, 1/6th Street. So thank you, Raisa. Are there any questions about the WEX program before I move on?
Actually, I have one
If you
more
want me to come to your house.
question. Can I just
Go ahead.
ask, with regard to the young adults, if there is a young adult who needs extra services, I have worked with the WEX program before, and I'm a huge fan of the program. I think it's really helped a lot of young people in West Marin. And it was with Petaluma People Services Center for a number of years. And the individuals that I worked with, some of them had legal problems, some were pregnant. There were different issues with different young adults, and I I feel like they access those services by enrolling in the program, and they were given a case manager who showed up with them in their court, in a like if they had to go to court, or they helped them with sort of understanding how to apply for community college. Is that still part of the WEX program, or has it changed?
So there are two parts of that that I want to address. First, we do have services and resources to address those barriers that you were talking about and those specific needs of those specific individuals. So we were able to, help with transportation, help with whatever other barriers that they were experiencing. We also work with Justice Involved Youth very closely and help them through the process. There's a lot of hand-holding involved, which is sometimes needed just to get people um, past that hurdle that keeps them from their own personal success. I am not familiar with us, my organization, Workforce Alliance, or Career Point Marin, attending court hearings with our clients, with our VIPs, as the career advisors call them. That being said, I'm not saying it's ruled out entirely. It's just not something that I am familiar with myself. They are case managers. I'm just not really sure how far that goes in terms of engaging with the justice system. Did that answer your question, Madeline?
Yes, and I think I can come by your office hours and we can talk a little bit more about some of the programming.
I
Thank you
would
so much.
absolutely, and I would love that. Yeah, thank you so much. Are there any other questions or comments? All right, Valeria, next slide, please. All right, and some other business and employer services. So just wanted to discuss more about the purpose of this. It's to promote, connect, and expand access to workforce development resources for employers. And our, specific mandated goals for this, we want to align workforce training with regional economic needs, support an adaptable, skilled labor market, as well as strengthen employer engagement and retention. And we just want to make sure that you all are not experiencing unnecessary turnover, which could cause headaches. And trust me, I know all about that as a former business owner myself. And I just want to make sure that it's understood that we are here to be your best friends, more or less. Some of the core activities, we have on-site employer meetings and job fairs. So if you wanted to have a hiring event for a few positions that you have open, you could either come over to our location in Novato. We could host it at your business and organize it, do outreach, make sure that people show up. And I'm not going to promise anything, but we may be able to work with HHS to provide a space in at that location as well. It's something that has been discussed before. So, but again, I don't want to speak for another organization and their willingness to or not to do something. That said, they are an amazing community partner, and we've had nothing but wonderful experiences working with them. We also would connect employers to other grants and tax-funded resources. So if you do need that bridge gap funding for whatever reason, we're able to work with you to help come up with creative solutions as well as connect you with grants and other resources in that way as well. You guys are not alone in this walk to success, and we are here to be with you the entire way. We also could, work with you to advise on strategies, kind of as a business services consultant to see, if you have an idea, you want to bounce it off, see the viability of that, we're able to work with you to make sure that any ideas that you have can be executed successfully, and that you have all the resources to need to realize that goal. And also to reduce that employee turnover that has been a plague that I've seen all across all industries. Um, and sharing the training opportunities that I discussed earlier that specifically align to whatever labor market or technological trends that we may be facing. I mentioned AI. That's a big topic right now. I can't go 6 hours without hearing about some sort of AI training or some sort of new threat to the labor market or new disruptive aspect of it. And so we are able to help harden your guys' ability to approach any changes in technology, in market, in regulations, so that you guys could remain successful in your industries. Next slide, please.
There's a question in the chat,
Oh,
Zach, about if you have a presence in Tomales High School to inform students of these programs.
so we do not have a direct presence at any of the high schools. We do work with the Marin County Office of Education and other community partners like the Magnolia Project, who does have direct connections to, Tomales, Shoreline Unified, and other schools and education organizations. So we do work with various partners to have a presence in that way. We have that connection, but we don't have a direct presence on the schools themselves.
It's just important for those of you who don't know, the Magnolia project that Zach just mentioned, it's a career exploration program that is being implemented in all the schools in West Marin, including Tomales High School, but also at the middle school level in other schools, that is trying to show different career paths to kids, and then opening opportunities for internships, and by them being connected with the Workforce Alliance. That's a very strong matching of the two programs, because Magnolia Project is just started, but it's going to be present in every school in West Marin.
Thank you for elaborating on that, Valeria. I forget sometimes that people don't have all the same information that I have. So something that I need to be more mindful of. And Kay, thank you for joining us today. And before you sign off, I just wanted to reiterate that our hours are going to be at the 6th Street Health and Human Services in Point Reyes Station is going to be 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock on Mondays, every other Monday, starting September 22nd. So let's get a big presence out there on the 22nd. All right. Before we move on, I just want to do a last check for any questions or comments on this. Thank you for great resources. I've used these kind of programs in prior work situations, not specifically in West Marin, very successfully, and I'm glad to learn about them here. A primary barrier to long-term employees continues to be affordable housing. Absolutely. And I 100% agree. That is something that we are contending with, we're finding solutions for. We do connect our job seekers with resources and other organizations that do provide housing resources. And some of the other barriers that we remove enable people to afford their housing situations a little easier with a little less stress on there. But yes, thank you for calling that out. That is a huge barrier to employment, especially here in Marin for entry-level positions, as well as just being kind of a difficulty that everyone's experiencing up and down. Is this program only available in West Marin? No, all of our programs are actually available throughout Marin County. I just wanted to, with Fernando, Valeria, Raisa, and Summer, we wanted to come in and provide this information specifically to the West Marin community and make sure that you guys had the information and know that we could tailor it to your specific needs, because the West Marin community is very unique and there are a lot of challenges and opportunities that the West Marin community faces that is not faced by the rest of Marin County. So just wanted to acknowledge that. And Sonoma County has their own version of CareerPoint and the Workforce Alliance. They have JobLink up there in Santa Rosa and the Workforce Investment Board, or the WIB, if you will. So those are the WIB is to the Workforce Alliance on the North Bay, and JobLink, Sonoma County JobLink, is to CareerPoint Marin. Many thanks to all who are bringing this program to West Marin and who organized this webinar. Thank you. We still have a couple more slides here, so we're not hopping off quite yet, but I do appreciate everyone being grateful and excited about these programs. So I just wanted to, as you see on your screens here, these are some of our employer services that we offer. Take a screenshot, take a little picture on your phone so that you can refer to this later. We have so much to offer. From recruiting through job postings, job fairs, customized hiring events that I was discussing earlier, job matching, all the way to labor market information, so you know the proper wage to advertise, so that you're not under or over paying people. So we want to make sure that everyone has the right information to be successful. We also facilitate workshops, placement assistance, and outsource for other staff. We help with career coaching and make sure that employees of your organizations are able to maybe even move up in your organizations. And if someone quits or is let go for whatever reason, we're able to get that information from them as to what happened so that you're not put in that potentially uncomfortable situation of having those discussions. So we can have those discussions for you. As I mentioned, there's a lot on here. Take a screenshot and we could have these conversations one-on-one if any of these interest you specifically. Next slide, please. All right, and of our qualified talent, we pre-screen all applicants, which reduces the time that you spend sorting through resumes. We help to recruit and attract the right candidates through our outreach and utilizing our community partners, such as the West Marin Fund, County of Marin, Canal Alliance, Community Action Marin, etc. We refer candidates directly to employers, and we could refer open jobs to our candidates, so it goes both ways. And we also hold job fairs to access broader pools of talent that may not really be appraised of what is being offered. And we have facilities for on-site recruiting events. This is just reiterating kind of some of the stuff I've talked about. Next slide, please. And now just to get into some of our hiring events in a little bit more detail. So we expand your capacity to find and hire the qualified and exceptional talent that you really need for your organization. Myself, the business services team, I will help you organize our on-site on our side or your side, do outreach to our talent pool as well as the broader community to make sure that people show up. And these events will help employers, screen applicants effectively and have those one-on-one conversations before you even have that interview. So you kind of know who you're getting in bed with, so to speak. We have some upcoming recruiting events. There's job fairs in Santa Fe that's coming up. We also have West Marin Connect on September 21st. It's not a hiring event, it's a resource event for the community. And we have other hiring events that are happening very regularly. And I'll get into more details farther down the line. Next slide, please. So just a hiring event success story, a logistics company came to us because they were having trouble hiring reliable drivers and warehouse workers. So what they did is that they held a hiring event at our CareerPoint Marin Center up there in Novato, and we connected them with, I believe, 50 interested applicants came through. And they were able to hire, they had their pick of the litter, so to speak, and they were able to hire some really great talent. 4 of them were within a month, and they were able to stay with the company for a long time. And because of this and because of our relationship that continued, that employer was able to have higher retention and reduced turnover and reduced recruitment costs. Next slide, please. I'm just going to go through these really quick. We're getting a little low on time. Rapid response is if your business is facing any sort of layoffs or closures, we're able to work with you to make sure that your employees have the resources they need and that you also have the resources you need to land on your feet after this. These are presentations that could be done virtually or in person. They're, like I said, all this is free of cost to you. And if you are in a precarious situation like this, I would love to talk to you one-on-one to make sure that you have all the resources that you need. Next slide, please. As I mentioned, we do these 45-minute to 1-hour presentations. They can be done on your location, virtually, or at our Career Point Marin location in Novato. And as I mentioned, we are going to be in West Marin at the Health and Human Services. I'm not going to promise that they're going to have these events there, but that could be part of a conversation. And the topics include unemployment, insurance, job search help, career counseling, knowledge of the resources, training opportunities, education opportunities, etc. And we also provide resource packets that we will hand deliver to your business so that they can be distributed to your employees. Next slide, please. And as I mentioned, those are some of the resources that we have: unemployment insurance guidance, resume building, job search, just all the services that we offer at the AJCC, the American Job Center California, Career Point Marin up there at Nevada, at the Indian Valley campus and College Marin. And we also do supportive services like childcare referrals, transportation helps, etc. So next slide, please. And we use our partners in Department of Labor, EDD, CareerPoint comes in, and Marin County Health and Human Services their employment and training division will come and talk to your employees as well, and yourselves. They're available in several languages, specifically, Spanish is the big one, but we could do Tagalog or any other language that your employees might need to really retain this information. And it can be customized to your business. So not necessarily one size fits all. We could work with you to create a customized presentation. And like all our services, this is free to both you and your employees. Madeline, would CareerPoint consider a job fair for West Marin that includes both Marin CareerPoint and Sonoma JobLink, maybe at Tamales High School or Point Reyes at the Dance Palace, so that young adults and mid-career adults can consider working in Marin or Sonoma? Actually, there are conversations about that. So we're very aligned in our thinking. We are looking to bring these services, and we're finding the best time and the best means of delivering that. So thank you so much for bringing that up. That's in the works, and we'll be sharing that with the community as it comes. No problem, Sarah. Thank you so much for joining us today. I know it's getting late and you guys have a lot on your plate, so I'm going to try to get through the rest of this as efficiently as possible. Next slide, please. And if you need to schedule this, reach out to me, or I constantly am monitoring, they're called warn notices that are filed with the state. And I'm also trying to keep my pulse on the community as much as I can. So if you hear of anything, reach out to me, tell the employer to reach out to me, and I'll connect the affected business with all the resources that they need. And actually, believe it's on the next slide, is something that is going to be very important to know about, which is layoff aversion. These are proactive strategies that will minimize the duration of unemployment, as well as potentially keeping your business in operation and maintaining your current workforce. So there are a lot of strategies that we have in our toolkit. This is a key component of the rapid response services under WIOA. And so this is directly for businesses to help you through a difficult time. Valeria, next slide, please. Some of the strategies for layoff aversion, we will have early identification of your business's risks. And if you're at risk of layoffs, we can help address those in real time. We could offer trainings and on-the-job training services to help offset onboarding costs or training costs. We can help with feasibility studies to explore alternatives, such as a work share program where if you have a full-time employee and another business is looking for a part-time employee, you guys could split that full-time employee's hours between the two businesses until your business is ready to bring that full-time employee back on. And this is all coordinated with support from local, state, and federal partners. And we're also able to offer like short-time compensation or share work, as I was discussing a moment ago. Next slide, please. And some real world experiences. So manufacturing company used incumbent worker trained cross-train employers or employees instead of having to lay them off and rehire an entirely new workforce. Healthcare business employer, they implemented shared work to reduce hours temporarily, as well as a small business in, I believe it was Nevada or Santa Fe, that connected with the small business, the SBDC, and pivoted operations and worked with CareerPoint Marin and the business services lead before me to make sure that they were able to continue operations and avoid layoffs. Next slide, please. So the way you access these services, I have one of the longest emails that I've ever seen. So my apologies for that. But my email is z.koblik-de-leon at workforcealliancenorthbay.org. Feel free to take a screenshot of this. I'm also going to share my email at the end in the chat. So feel free to reach out to me, just as chat, say hi, introduce yourself. I'm very friendly, I promise. Also, my phone number is 707-231-3872. Wanted to say I'm fully based in Marin. I live in Marin. I grew up in Marin. I am very familiar with Marin. Our we are based in Napa, so that's the 707, and sometimes that throws people off. Next slide, please. Thank you, Fernando. All right, now moving on to CalJobs. And again, I'm going to breeze through this, and I'm more than willing to talk with you guys about this. CalJobs is a prerequisite to be enrolled in any of our programs, such as on-the-job training, work experience, incumbent worker training. And this is meant to, as an asset to the business, to advertise open positions, review qualified talent, also get connected with the AJCC system, either here or Sonoma County, if that is appropriate for your business. And so CalJobs could help your business through your training program's eligibility, post job openings, browse resumes, organize your candidate search so that you're not bombarded with applicants that you have to sift through all those resumes, expand your search, as well as pursue layoff aversion assistance. And I'm more than happy to walk anybody through the process of registering for CalJobs. It's a state-run website, so it's a state-run website, if you know what I mean. It's not explicitly user-friendly. I don't want that to scare anyone away. I'm more than happy to walk anyone through the process, but the initial registration is super easy. And then there's so many resources in there. I just don't want anyone to get lost in an ocean of options and opportunities. Next slide, please. And as I mentioned, employers are able to post their jobs on caljobs.ca.gov. And then once you're approved by EDD, we want to make sure that there's no scams out there and that job seekers are going into safe, healthy situations. So all employers are vetted to make sure that they have jobs, the jobs that they have are real, and that they're not malicious actors. So those are the only two things that really EDD is looking for. Next slide, please. You're able to recruit candidates through, sifting through resumes. You could ID your qualified talents or candidates for those openings through those resumes and their stated interest on the page. There's a tool. These tools are there to help businesses match their desired skills to job seekers and potential candidates. And you're able to see a little bit about their history as well. This is a two-way connection between the employers and job seekers, so you're able to communicate with them directly through this platform as well. Next slide, please. And then there's also labor market information so that you're able to have a better landscape of your industry to know the proper wages to offer, as well as opportunities and in-demand skills that you might not know you needed at that time. You're able to look at the industry profile, education profile of the community, as well as how many job seekers are seeking that specific opportunity or that occupation that you're advertising. Next slide, please. All right, and here are a few upcoming events. So first, the West Marin Connect Resource Fair. I believe Fernando and or Summer are going to be discussing this a little bit more. It is a resource fair, so there's going to be Career Point Marin is going to have representation there. We're going to do a quick little summary about the offerings, and you could come and talk to us. I'm going to be there, and you're more than welcome to come chat. I'd love to sit down with you, meet you, shake your hand, and explore some opportunities that way. It's going to be at the Dance Palace at 503 B Street in Point Reyes Station. The other opportunity that we have coming up is Santa Fe Level Up Employment Expo. This is a partnership between the Workforce Alliance of the North Bay and the Santa Fe Chamber of Commerce, as well as the City of Santa Fe. This is on September 25th from 4 to 7 at the Santa Fe Community Center at 618 B Street next to the Safeway. This QR code will give you a link to the employer registration. So if you wanted to have open positions, wanted to table the event, or at least just stop by and say hi and check out a little bit more of what these events look like so that you can get an idea of the reach that we have and kind of the events that we put on. So I'll leave that up there just for a split second, just to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to use that QR code. Just open your camera, hover above it, and a little link will pop up. And yes, the West Marin Connect Resource Fair is going to be on Sunday, September 21st. And from what I hear, there's going to be free burritos and delicious, delicious beverages. Fernando, do you want to speak on it briefly?
Absolutely, Zach. So our office in partnership with West Marin Fund and many other agencies based in Marine and West Marin as well, going to bring these resources to everyone in West Marin. The event is going to happen on Sunday, 9/21, on September 21st, from 1 to 4 p.m. at the Dance Palace. And these resources that we're bringing in the West Marin Connect are specifically focused on three areas. Workforce and employment, that's exactly what we're talking about today. Housing and all the different opportunities that each one of us has to be part of the solution around the housing crisis in West Marin, and also around social services. So we're going to have in the big room more than 20 organizations sharing resources, opportunities, and trainings around these three specific areas. And in the church space, we're going to be hosting three workshops. One of them is going to be around opportunities for entrepreneurs, specifically for Latinos entrepreneurs in West Marin. The second workshop is going to be around job readiness, right? What does it take to be ready to go to the work market? And the third conversation is around housing. And this is going to be a presentation between the Community Development Agency from the County Marine and Workforce and the West Marin Fund, sharing about all the different opportunities that each individual and community has to be part of the housing solution. I dropped the flyer in the chat, and everyone is welcome. We're going to be providing interpretation to Spanish for the workshops, and most of the resources that are going to be shared by each one of the agencies are going to be offered as well in English and Spanish. Any further questions around this, feel free to reach out to me, and I'll be more than glad to elaborate further on this. In case there are no other additional questions around the first ever West Marin Connect event. And it is our intention to keep on offering this event on a yearly basis.
Yes, thank you so much for that information, Fernando. I appreciate it. Next slide, please. And this is just a little bit of information about how you could get in contact with Career Point Marin in our Nevada location at College of Marin Indian Valley campus, 1800 Ignacio Boulevard, in the Miwok parking lot. So right when you get through those front gates, you're going to take a left into the parking lot. There's actually Career Point Marin specific spots, so you don't even have to pay for the parking. And if those are all taken, we actually have day passes printed out that we could give you and use that way. We don't want any barriers, and even $5 could be too much to do that for a lot of our job seekers. So we're open Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 12, closed for lunch, and come back 1 to 5. That's the phone number there to reach me directly. These emails on here, you could use those to reach me as well. Next slide, please. And I just want to keep all this information up there, but also share. I put 100 again. I guess I had 100 in my head for West Marin Health and Human Services. So it's 1/6th Street in Point Reyes Station. And we're going to be there every other Monday starting September 22nd from 10 o'clock to 12. Hopefully, we could expand those hours with your help by showing that there is huge demand in West Marin for these services. There are several ways that you can get a hold of us. I have these 3 email accounts that I'm checking every day. So business at careerpointnorthbay.org. You can do Marin AJCC at careerpointnorthbay.org. That one is specific to Marin County. And then you could also reach me at my personal email or my work email at zkoblicdeleon at workforcealliancenorthbay.org. And I encourage everyone to visit the workforcealliancenorthbay.org website. There's a lot of great information on there, information about our upcoming hiring events, workshops, and other offerings that we have. And I am, as I mentioned, please reach out to me. I love to talk to you guys, find solutions to whatever obstacles that you are facing in either recruitment, training, even staying open. I'm more than happy to help keep you guys operational as long as I can. And as I mentioned, all these services are free at cost, and we just want to put more money in your pocket. So just want to say thank you all so much for being here, listening to the spiel. If anyone has any questions, I'll stay on for a little bit longer, but I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I look forward to hearing from you guys very soon. Thanks again.